Okay, as I said, I picked this up in Magog, Quebec, which is up near Sherbrooke, in a snowstorm. And from what I can tell, the previous owner used it for a week about 3 or 4 years ago, and from what I can gather, probably didn't know how to set it up for any great degree, because there was things I found that I thought were probably not correct, but there are experts that can tell me one ways. But I'll tell you what I think. So far, the machine, pretty interesting. It's definitely for smaller scale mortises. The table, this table here doesn't traverse left or right. Not that that's a big deal or anything. And, you know, obviously the support table here is for smaller work. You're not going to put timber on this, although maybe it can. And the majority of the chisels I got were considerably shallow, perfectly suited to doing table legs, chairs, this sort of thing. Also, the head travels back and forth. This is your index for where the oscillating chisel goes. You unclamp it here. I don't know, there doesn't seem to be a handle. It's probably something that gets lost. The thing vibrates like crazy. All of these bolts were loose. This little cap for the bearing, which is an SKF, made in Sweden, mind you, is an open bearing, and it looked quite full of sawdust. There's probably a grease fitting missing there. A couple of the jam nuts on the posts are missing. The majority of the nuts were loose, probably just from its day-to-day use. This was jammed solid, actually, in the high-speed feed and jammed. You turn this for your speed at which the chisel drops. I found it was way too fast. Excuse me here while I get the camera. Here's your controls. So you have, this is off. This is forward. This is reverse, or vice versa, whichever it is. It's all in German. This is your engage. You heard it, you know, so that's your isolation switch. This looks to be a manual switch. Why it's down here on the ground, I don't know. Maybe because you got to come down and push that. You know, it's on some nice dovetailed ways. The travel isn't really a lot in the rise and fall of the table with this little handle here, but there is a little bit of travel on this post, mind you, and the configuration it's in right now is probably the best, and it does look like you can rock the table for angled mortises. This adjusts for your air clamp system, and it looks as if the chisels and previous workers is smacked onto this, so I may redo this one in brass so that it doesn't damage chiseling. Here's your limit. This limits the head in its height. Right now it's got no air on it. Maybe I can get Adam to plug the air in. So this machine is air operated. I'll have Adam open it, and you'll see that everything comes up. Well, it looks like that fell off. Little piece of plastic, which I think's probably inappropriate. Probably should have something with some sort of slip resistance on it. A piece of wood with sandpaper. Your upper limit is pretty much the same thing. This little rod here has a little tiny adjusting stop that, of course, engages a little plunger to set its upper limits, so that you don't need to have the head raise all the way up in its function. You can set it up pretty close. Looks like some little stops here for extended stops, and I imagine this is some sort of flip stop that would go there. Perhaps someone with the know can explain what it's for. I believe this little channel here is for a chip breaker, for tear out, and here's the air cylinder, which has an air feed into the top of the cylinder, air feed into the bottom, and what appears to be a bleed. By turning that, you're opening the bleed and evening up the pressures on both sides of the cylinder, and I'm pretty sure that's what controls the speed. This just, when the stop hits there, it blows out the air out this little tiny hole and just kills all air pressure, and obviously signals it to another function. I haven't opened up the electrics, just sort of screwed around with it a little bit, opened up the back. This is your main motor, which is in behind here, is run on a double belt to another bearing in this location. This bearing here is greasable. It runs that shaft through here to another bearing, which is greasable, to another little bearing here, which I'm not sure if that's an oil bearing. And then, like I said, this plunger assembly up in here, I haven't opened it up, but it's a little glass vial. That's probably an oil bath for the oscillation and rotation of the spindle. I think that's about it. Anyway, the chisels aren't really sharp. It looks like somebody tried to hand do them a little bit, but they don't look too difficult to sharp. I imagine getting the geometry of it correct is the important part, which I haven't found anything on the correct geometry to sharpen those two. Also, I don't believe I have the oscillation set correctly, which I'll work on next. I think I'm probably going too wide with this existing chisel. It appears that there's numbers stamped on the chisels that state that they're within a certain dimension, 3/4 to 1.25 inches. So the oscillation stroke is pretty short. I'm getting sort of double radius bottoms on my bits, but it's not too bad. Of course, the table, the whole assembly will tip on these trunnions here, so this whole assembly can be set to operate horizontally. So anyway, I think I'll put it back and I'll show you it running. Okay, so all you do is there's a little foot pedal there. Don't know if I can get the view of the foot pedal and the wood happening at the same time. But you just activate it. Obviously the power's not on. This is to return. You can see that it is, so I'm going to turn it to forward, activate it. That's going to bring the motor on. Pretty cool. don't know if you can see how clean that is, but it does appear to be, you know, not bad. That's cherry, by the way. It's definitely pretty cool, though. Without its chip breaker, though, I can see it causing problems. But not too bad. That's a, you know, that's a 3/4, about an inch long, 1.25 long mortise. I don't know if you can see. I'll try to do a shallow one and show you the radius bottom. Don't know if you. I'll try shallower than that. If you can see that, but you can kind of see it's, I'll see if I can focus in on it, you know, but you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of got a radius bottom. I'm thinking that that's got to do with the length of my oscillation, and that's why chisels come with more teeth and whatnot. Anyway, I thought it was pretty cool. Obviously, you need a chip breaker. Thank you.